Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Brian Barkley. I'm the chair of the Rockville Chamber of Commerce Public Policy Committee, and I will be moderating today's forum. This is a forum. It is not a debate. We're not going to have a literal back and forth. And as I said to the candidates, this is Rockville, so we're actually polite, so we won't talk over each other. We welcome the candidates here today and are looking forward to a discussion of issues affecting the city of Rockville. Thank you all for attending this debate forum hosted by the Rockville Chamber of Commerce, which is the voice of the business community in Greater Rockville. Our mission is to foster a cooperative environment for businesses to succeed through leadership, advocacy, and community partnerships. Since this debate is being televised and we have a number of candidates for council, we have a tight schedule, and we request that the audience remain silent to allow as much time as possible for the candidates to respond. Please also silence your phones now. Thank you. The questions for today's forum were drawn from questions submitted in advance. Victoria Jones, a member of the chamber, seated in the front, will be keeping time, and Margie Graff, the president and CEO of the chamber, will be assisting me. A yellow card will be held up by Victoria when there are 15 seconds left in the candidate's time, and a red card will be held up when it's time for them to complete, and we ask them just to complete the sentence they're working on, not to go on beyond that. Now, the format for the mayoral candidates is as follows. Each candidate will have a 3-minute opening statement, and we determined the order by a coin flip before we started. And Councilmember Bershela is going to go first, and Councilmember Ashton is going to go second. Then each candidate will be asked a question, and will have 4 minutes to answer, alternating who is asked first. Again, I will start over here, second, and then we'll alternate after that. The other candidate will have 4 minutes to respond. Candidates may use part of their time to further respond to a previous question. There are not going to be a lot of questions because of the time issues, but we'll give them that opportunity. And I won't prevent them from saying something else if that's what they want to say, within reason. At the end of the mayoral debate, each candidate will be invited to make a closing statement for not more than 3 minutes. We'll observe the same order as the opening statements, and that will conclude the mayoral debate. I've already told you about the alerting for the remaining time for opening and closing. So with that, I'm going to turn to you, and I know these people well, so I'm going to call you Mark, if I may. Mark, go ahead and give your opening, please.
Thank you, Brian, and I want to thank the Greater Rockville Chamber of Commerce, Margie Graff, the CEO and president, and the Public Affairs Committee for putting this on. My name is Mark Bershela, and I'm running for mayor. I have an outstanding 12 years of service. No one else on this council has my list of accomplishments over that time. I am by far the most senior, the most experienced, the most successful, the most collaborative candidate for mayor. I have led from a council seat. Now it's time for me to lead as mayor. It's just not length of service, it's strength of service, it's courageous service, it's collaborative service. I have stood up for the powerless, and I have stood up to the powerful. A great example of that was the Fireside Park Apartments. We saved it as commercially, naturally affordable housing, and we had to stand up to many people in order to get that across. I have been the innovator, the thought leader, the creator of new ideas. I've been the fresh voice on the council since 2009. An example of that, champion districts in the Rockville Pike Plan near Twin Brook Metro. I was the one who created that idea. That's what enabled the Twin Brook Quarter project to go forward. They put together 18.5 acres. That was all because of my idea. And I was the one who led on Twin Brook Quarter, getting that done. I have succeeded on a number of controversial 3-2 votes. I have a list. But in the new mayor and council, I look forward to working with new people to be able to collaborate and to form consensus on ideas. Indeed, I have turned the tide on the whole idea of economic development. It used to be a dirty word. Now every candidate is talking about economic development. I've made progress on the need for housing. Finally, people are looking at the high housing prices for their young adult children or for their elders. And they're looking at how difficult it is for teachers and support staff to come and teach their students. So I've turned the idea on that. I've been the one to stand up for the business community. I support business because I support people. We need business to be successful in order for people to be successful. Do you remember the Rockville Summit? That happened in 2011 and 2012. That's where I brought together residents, business, education, nonprofits, and government to discuss how to build a better Rockville. I am running for our mayor because I'm running for our children's future and that of our grandchildren too. So I look forward to the questions that Mr. Barkley will pose, and please vote for Mark Bershela, your mayor for all.
We got off to a good start, right on time. I hope everybody will do their best to do that the rest of the way. If I may, I'm also going to call you Monique. Go ahead, Monique.
Yes, please. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you to everyone for coming out on this rainy day. We'll hopefully bring some sunshine and vision back to today. I want to thank the Greater Chamber of Commerce, the incredible work that Margie and the team and the board, as well as our POO team, have been doing. I note that the State of the City was just recently had. They organized that. They also organized the business roundtables and speed dating that has been happening. I've been working very, very close with the Chamber, not only to cut the ribbons on the businesses, but to do the work and follow up with them. My name is Monique Ashton. It has been a tremendous honor to serve as your council member. I'm humbled by the support showed last election when I was nominated with the highest number of votes, and I ask for your vote again as mayor. I have proven business executive experience and as a community leader with a passion for service and innovation problem solving. Professionally, I'm an executive vice president with management experience. I manage large teams, contracts, budgets, strategic planning, and forecasting. I negotiate. I have helped launch small businesses and have experience working in the very sectors we seek to grow here in Rockville. I've leveraged my experience as an executive and community leader to unite and deliver results. Today, I ask for your vote as mayor. I will continue to make Rockville an even better place to live, work, and raise a family. Our family has lived in East and West Rockville for the past 2 decades, and I've served in leadership roles to support our city for the past 14 years. This election is about selecting leaders who will listen, represent you, build bridges, not burn them, bring strategic thinking and consensus building. I believe that you expect leaders who not only ask for your vote, but earn it. I am the results-driven candidate that has and will continue to advance public safety initiatives. I initiated the idea for the gun buyback program that got 600 guns, ghost guns, assault rifles, off of our streets. I've led on Vision Zero. I will continue to make public safety a priority for bike and pedestrian safety. I will seek to foster strong schools and neighborhood centers. We need to ensure that the city listens and proactively, not just responsively, improves the quality of life for all of our residents. I have served as a champion for our schools and successfully worked with the county to advocate for new school staffing, improved programming, and added capacity. Some like to pit housing versus strong schools and neighborhoods. I think we need both, and I have done both. I will focus on smart growth around transit centers that fosters workforce and mixed income housing so that our police, teachers, and workers have the option to live and work Rockville. I will support strong services and economic development and continue to attract small businesses and other kinds of businesses to our life science, tech corridor, and Rockville Town Center. I will support our environment and accelerate our climate action plan. I thank you for your support. I hope you will join me in this positive movement and vote Monique Ashton on November 7th.
Thank you. First question, we'll start with Mark. Mark, and you'll both answer the same question. What do you think should be incorporated in the future Town Center Plan / 2040 Comprehensive Plan? What's your vision for the future?
So first of all, I want to say that in our 2040 Master Plan process, I felt that the town center was not well treated by this mayor and council. What we got from the Planning Commission was acceptable. What we did to the Planning Commission town center part of it was not acceptable. For that reason, I was one who pushed, and thanks to all my colleagues for agreeing that we would now do a town center master plan. But yet, now this is a 3-year process, and time is ticking away. Certainly, so I'm saying that because I'm the one who started that town center master plan process, and that is a process of bringing people together, again from all sectors, to try to agree on the town center. But we must conclude that we need business investment in town center. And when I say town center, it's not just town square. To me, it's town square, and depending on the direction, a block or 2 or 3 on either side of the town square. So we need to bring together the businesses, have the business voice. What is going to attract you to make an investment in our town center? The city's going to have to make investments too, but we don't have that much money. It's the businesses that can bring in the tens of millions to bring in a new apartment building, for example. And so I have identified 6 fairly big developers or business interests in the city. They have to be the core. We know of a few of them: Morguard, Comstock, Federal Realty is still there, JBG is there, but there are a few others that we need to bring together. We need to collaborate on things like parking. We need to finally get across the idea that we need to move on several fronts at once, not just try this, see if that works, then try that. We need a sense of urgency. We need to get away from this idea that we're going to underground 355 from south of Veers Mill to north of Bell Avenue. That concept has slowed down and even stopped our work with WMATA on the Rockville Metro Station. That's just a not going to happen idea, and we need to conclude that and get done with that. So in conclusion, I will be the one who brings the businesses together with the people. As I've said before, when business succeed, people succeed. These are not contrary ideas, and the whole idea that business is a dirty word, that's going to end. And I think I've made great progress on that so far. Thank you.
Your turn.
I don't believe that business is a dirty word, and I do believe in the power and possibility of Rockville Town Center. I believe that we've made some significant progress, but there's been many years to have gotten that done, and I think we've accelerated some of that in the past few years. Some examples are the Small Business Incentive Fund. I helped to lead the conversation on that, to tweak that fund, so that we're not just focusing on business retention, but we're also thinking about attracting net new businesses. If we don't fill the vacancies, even though it's a private property, people will largely consider that a failure. And so now with the Small Business Incentive Fund and the revised MOVE program, we can use some of those net new funds to look at incentivizing new business to come in. In addition, we have negotiated, and I pushed on this, to get free 2-hour parking. When I first came into council, that was a huge concern that folks had, and we delivered. I not only talk about the businesses, I go and I engage with them. I know what their issues are, and I flag them to Morguard and to the chamber as well as Ready. Actually, I had meetings last week to say, here's what I'm hearing that businesses may be experiencing that may make it so that they're not here in 5 years. And I asked for help on advocating for them. In addition, the ULI report is something that we have been working to implement, and that also dovetails nicely with many of the recommendations of the comprehensive plan and the goals and policies that we set forth. We do need to think about density and how we do it. There's already projects coming online. People don't necessarily think about the fact that over the past several years, Rockville has approved and has permitted about 8,000 units. I can't go into all of them because of ex parte, but there's some office to housing conversions happening. There's some school to housing conversion that's happening. We have to think about our infrastructure as we do that, but that is part of the vision of what we need to do to make sure that we have people who are seeing town center. During the pandemic and through my work, I know a lot what businesses go through and how they struggle. I led the city on doing the first business center roundtable to help them understand how to do permitting, how to be able to adjust their businesses, how to connect to county services and resources that were available to bring their e-commerce online. I heard from so many businesses that it helped to save them during the pandemic. That's the kind of leadership that we need, is that folks who are going to get on the ground and work with staff, as well as to think through what do businesses need to come here, as well as to stay here. We also need to do more with Montgomery College. There's 15,000 people at Montgomery College that we could be leveraging to bring closer to Rockville Town Center. We need to improve wayfinding. It is built in a square, so unless you know it's there, you don't know. And we have thousands of people that traverse 355. We have the Rockville Metro. Wayfinding is an issue. I work with staff to get lighting put around towards the entryway of where the Metro and 355 cross. I hope to see some asphalt as well, so that asphalt art, so that we can be an attractant and have some nice wayfinding so people can see Rockville Town Center before they pass it. Right now, the first real visible signs that you'll see as you're driving are in Bell, and by that time you're already past. We also looked in the comprehensive plan at the optional method and an opportunity for developers to come to us with new ideas and in exchange for some additional public good, whether that be workforce housing or green space. Those are just a few ideas. I would also say I advocated very strongly to bring events back to the town center. That was being paused. And if you go there, you'll see folks from Virginia, folks from Gaithersburg coming to our town center and visiting and frequenting our businesses. Those are some of the things that we need to build on in addition to the permanent closure on Glib so that we create placemaking. Thank you.
All right, now we're going to reverse the order for the next question. And you will start this first this time, Monique. The question is, the city has received high ratings in a recent survey of residents in a number of areas, including quality of life and quality of city services. What areas still need improvement?
This is a repeat question from last year. Thank you. Last time. So I will say that the city does have preeminent services. I do think that we can leverage our data to do even better. I also think that we're growing as a population, so we need to think about how we adjust those services. Everyone that I've spoken to as I've been knocking thousands of doors and doing a listening tour all across the city really appreciate the Rec and Parks programs, the way our city cleans up our streets after a snow, and the way the city is engaging and providing events and opportunities for people to come together. The Secretary of Health, Becerra, came to our senior center and said that it is a national example, a model for what the nation could have. So I think we have a lot of strengths to build upon. We do need to think about what we're doing with Redgate and King Farm Farmstead to finally activate that. We've made some improvements, but we need to do more. For Redgate, we have a plan going out to look at having an arboretum, making it a real attraction with a potential small amphitheater that's built into nature, and just really activate that space. And then King Farm Farmstead, I was trying to get the dairy barn activated so we can finally have some activity there. There was a little bit of a push and pull on that last mayor and council, but I'm hopeful that we can get that done next term. We also need to think about services for our seniors as well as our young people. We know that there's so many seniors who don't yet come back to the senior center after COVID. I've knocked their doors, they're living in isolation. I like to find more ways to help and support meet our seniors where they are, and also bring more senior services across the city. In addition, for youth, I've been a very strong advocate on teen and youth programming, and that's for a variety of reasons. One is kids have suffered so much through the pandemic, through mental health issues, through just being isolated, and it's a lot to make up for socially. In addition, we saw some increases in crime that related to juveniles getting involved in things that they normally wouldn't have. And so I said, why don't we give kids positive things to do? I've been quoted and said that sometimes signing up for our youth programs is like getting Beyonce tickets or Taylor Swift tickets. It sells out in 12 minutes, and we need to do better. We can look at the school data to see where there are bands of students coming through to help support the programming there. So through my advocacy, and I want to thank my colleagues because they supported this and spoke up about it as well, we did add additional teen services. We also increased the capacity of our summer programs. We know parents need that help as well. They need safe places for their kids to go. So those are some of the services I think. I think we're doing a great job, but we can do even better.
Thank you. Mark, your turn.
Can you repeat the question, please?
I'll be happy to. The city has received high ratings in a recent survey of residents in a number of areas, including quality of life and quality of city services. What areas still need improvement?
Thank you, Mr. Barkley. For 12 years on the council, if there's been one theme for me, it's been our young adults, especially when our children today become young adults. What can I do for today's first graders, for today's sixth graders, for today's ninth graders, for today's seniors, so that when they come back to us as young adults, that they can actually afford to live here? I've been constant over all that time. We need many, many more housing units. I've been the sole elected voice to proclaim that, to announce it, that we have to get over our fear of density, that we can build near our transit centers. We can provide not just hundreds, but thousands of new homes for our young adults and our grandchildren. And let's say my mom, 95 years old, a downsizing elder, they need those housing prices to come down too. We have challenges since the pandemic with increased crime, and we have to fund our police. We're going to need more positions. Montgomery County is perhaps going to pull back their police force from so much service in Rockville. We have to handle that. We have to handle retaining our police in addition to attracting. It's a tough market. Many adults don't want to go into policing anymore, and I think that's too bad. King Farm Farmstead. Nothing has happened on King Farm Farmstead except for the fact that I've been pushing it since 2009, even before I was first elected in 2009. It's been a lonely, historic district kind of effort. But finally, we have the dairy barns restored. They're not used yet. We had an opportunity for the horse barn with Rockville Civic Ballet. Too bad that passed. But we had an opportunity. An entrepreneur came to us in 2019, was willing to do all the capital improvements, water, sewer, electricity, rebuilding the buildings, and that died on a 2-2 vote in a closed session. That entrepreneur should have had a chance to come forward to the King Farm community. Okay, that didn't happen. All right, so what now? Well, the Rockville has to take on that $25 to $30 million to restore King Farm Farmstead. But we need it, not only for historic district preservation, we need it for programming space. I just have to announce that budgets are going to be a tough issue for the next mayor and council. Currently, our personnel costs are increasing by about 3.6% a year, whereas our revenue is increasing by about 2.6% per year. All you council member candidates, you sure you want to handle this? I'm not going to raise taxes or tax rates to do that. That's going to take some really tough choices. At my urging, city staff finally came up with a complete list of capital improvement projects, including past that 5-year horizon. We have a $60 million hole in our capital budget. How are we going to handle that? Most of that is from 3 bad decisions by this mayor and council, not this mayor and council, but previous mayor and councils, including paying $30-some million for parking garages when the county was going to do it, not accepting that entrepreneur's efforts on King Farm Farmstead, and not accepting the fact that Red Gate could have been managed by the Montgomery County Revenue Authority. We would have owned the land, but they would have managed it for us. They could have folded Red Gate into that portfolio of theirs, and it'd still be a golf course. Okay, now we have an opportunity in Red Gate. Oh, it's just another $20 million. That's all. So in the end, this next mayor and council is going to have tremendous challenges. I look forward to leading them. I will come in a collaborative manner, and I'll help everybody succeed to come together, 7 people, finally, to make consensus decisions. Thank you.
Thank you. We're now going to have closing statements, and we're going to go back to the original order, meaning that you'll get the last word this time, Monique.
Yeah, thank you.
So, Mark, if you would go ahead, you have 3 minutes to make a closing statement, please.
So when I saw the rules for this debate, I knew there'd only be 2 or 3 questions. So, thank you.
You can do your math, Mark.
I'm a statistician, right? So anyway, I want to give you a list of some of the things that have happened on a 3-2 vote that I've come out on the right side of. Choice Hotels International, 3-1 vote to bring them in at virtually no cost to the city. Upton Building, now the Boulevard 44, came as part of a second part of that process because Choice guaranteed so many rooms for the Convery Suites Hotel, and because of that, we have a hotel in town center. The Ansel building doesn't get built without the Upton being built first. The police station on a 3-2 vote. We got the land and the building, the old post office, for $1 from the government. Why was that a 3-2 vote? Fireside Park Apartments, a 3-2 vote in 2012, a 4-1 vote in 2018 to refinance. Victory Housing, arm of the Roman Catholic Archdiocese, asked mayor and council for a letter of support. No money, just a letter of support for tax credits from the state, and they eventually withdrew that request because it became such a controversial issue. The Bain Bridge used to be known as Silverwood by the Shady Grove Metro, a 3-2 vote. National Lutheran Home Conduit Bond, a 3-2 vote. I led on the champion district for the Trimble Quarter, but why was that even a controversial project? We finally got it on a 3-1 vote. Senior Center expansion, 3-2. Goody Drive maintenance facility, where our trucks get repaired, 3-2 vote. Adequate public facilities ordinance, right-sizing that so that we are in line with the county on school capacity. I didn't vote on it. I wasn't on the council. I lost that election for mayor. But my three Team Rockville comrades, Tom Moore, Julie Plackford, and Virginia Onley, voted for that. It was the correct thing to do, and I helped the chamber get that across. APFO, fire response standards times. All the county did was recalibrate how they do fire response times, and sections of our cities went out of conformance, so we got rid of that. Again, a 3-2 vote. I defended READY from an effort to defund it. You have a READY board now because I defended it. What did they do? Maryland Women's Business Center, I helped birth that. Choice Hotels International, they helped bring it in. I twice brought proposals to King Farm Farmstead, and I voted for the Fostering Community Trust Ordinance again on a 3-2 vote. And finally, the Town Center Master Plan, it was a 5-0 vote. There wasn't any controversy about it, but I'm the one who insisted that it came back because we didn't get it right in the 2040 Master Plan. So I am the one who has demonstrated that I can work collaboratively, but I can make the correct votes when I have to. So again, 12 years of service. Nobody else has my reach of experience from before the pandemic. I mean, the Great Recession to after the pandemic. So please vote for Mark Pershela, your mayor, for all of Rockville. Thank you.
Thank you. And as I said, you get the final word.
Thank you. I wanted to just address some of the other things that were shared about our police and tax duplication and other things that I think are critically important. From a budget perspective, I was a budget hawk looking for things that were out of line in projection and identifying everything from spiraling healthcare costs to how we could get this budget done. I am president of the Maryland Municipal League Montgomery chapter. In that role, I represent 21 municipalities, which really helps Rockville because it allows me to engage with other municipalities and to use our strength to get the things that we need. For 35 years, the county has been collecting taxes from our residents, and they knew it was a problem that they were not fully reimbursing us, but there was a logjam on how to get it done. I led and I got it done. It's returned $2.5 million back to Rockville last year, and in FY25, that will be $8 million. And we wrote a bill so that this will be every year going forward. Why is that important? It's going to fund our transportation infrastructure. It's going to fund our police. We had never, ever been reimbursed for police services, and now we are. And that is through not only identifying problems and saying, I'm mad at you, or that, saying this is never going to be solved, but it's like, how do we get to yes? How do we find consensus? And that's the kind of work that I will do at the county, federal, state, to support the city of Rockville. I will get things done with a lot less drama and a lot of pulling our folks together to work to achieve common goals. I do also think that we need to look at the responsiveness of our city. We are a great city, but as I go through parts of our city, I see that it's not fully equitable. We tend to look at who is the loudest, and I have been doing work to make sure that we're going to all parts of our city, that the north, the south, the east, the west, all of the center is represented. One example is the budget survey. There's a budget survey opportunity to weigh in right now, but before I got on, less than 200 people filled out this survey to help support the priorities of the city. Through my work of going to where people are, I helped to increase that by 300%. That's the kind of leadership that I will take, to not only look at the problem, but find solutions and meet people where they are to get things done. I have been a tremendous advocate on economic development, and that's something that I want to do going forward, because I realize that if the vacancies are what they are, and right now Rockville's sitting better than some other areas near us, we're about 20%, but commercial real estate is something that we're going to have to grapple with. And it's important because we need to make sure that we're supporting the tax base of our community. I'm going to be the kind of mayor that gets things done, that brings folks together, and I'm really excited about the council candidates. On housing, I have increased and supported access to affordable housing by 31% on the Ready portfolio, with a lot less drama, a lot of action and results. Thank you.
Thank you. This is going to conclude the mayoral debate. We're going to take, in a moment, a 5-minute break, and I'm going to ask during that time the council candidates come up, starting with alphabetically, starting with Mr. Belay at this end, Mr. Van Grack at that end. In about 5 minutes, I hope you'll all stay for this as well, but if you don't, I'm going to repeat this at the end. I've been involved in politics for decades, and I'm so tired of hearing people complain about elected officials, and then you ask them and they tell you they didn't vote. Get out and vote. Be back in 5 minutes.
I'm so new as a boy can be. I was walking in Rockville.
We are having a volunteer reception for all the volunteers for the city of Rockville. We have over 200 volunteers that take time out of their daily lives to support the city in many events, from Recreation and Park to the Senior Services to the Board of Appeals to the Board of Elections. Their time is so valuable to us that we need them in order for the city to run smoothly.
Okay. Yeah. For me, volunteering, it really helps build a sense of community. And not just for me, but I think also for the city and the surrounding area as a whole.
For a person to volunteer, it takes time, but they also grow on their own personal skills. They network, they learn from each other, and they might make connections that they hadn't made before.
I think I get to meet a lot of great people, and I think they just help me improve myself and so many other people. I wouldn't be the same person without volunteering at Rockville.
Rockville is a city that cares, and we wouldn't be this kind of city without our volunteers.
Welcome back, everyone. We're now going to proceed to the forum for the council candidates. We did notify any candidates who could not be here that they could submit a 2-minute statement that I would read, and we did hear from 2 of them, and I will read those. The debate will begin with opening statements of not more than 30 seconds from the candidates in alphabetical order, starting on my far left, proceeding to my far right. The first question will then be addressed to the candidates in the same alphabetical order, and they will have, I'm sorry, there's not a lot of time, 1 minute each to answer. Second question will be addressed to the candidates in the reverse order, so starting on my right and going to my left. Again, they'll have 1 minute to answer. They will then be given the opportunity to give 30-second closing statements, and again, we have a timekeeper in the front. I think you all saw how that worked earlier. Now, let me read the 2 statements that I received, and I'm going to apologize, so maybe somebody will correct me if I mispronounce a name. The first one I have is from, I think it's Isola Shaw? Isola. Thank you to the Greater Rockville Chamber of Commerce for hosting this candidates forum. Regrettably, I cannot join the forum due to a prior commitment to attend a White House event on behalf of my employer, the National Cancer Institute, part of the National Institutes of Health. The event I am attending today takes place once a year and is hosted by the White House Initiative on Advancing Educational Equity, Excellence, and Economic Opportunity through historically black colleges and universities. My work at this White House event includes sharing cancer research opportunities with aspiring scientists and expanding our national cancer research workforce. The impact of cancer knows no boundaries. Just like the rest of the country, Rockville families have been affected by the devastating effect of and impacts of cancer. I understand that having a strong experience supporting workforce matters in addressing any critical issue. As a candidate with several decades of leadership experience at all levels of government, from local to federal, and a track record of using public spaces such as forums to engage more community members on important issues, today's date posed a difficult scheduling decision for me. Nevertheless, I have an unwavering commitment to making a meaningful impact on people's lives and ultimately saving lives. As a council member, I work with all neighborhoods to create a safer and more affordable Rockville, add a fresh approach to revitalize our town center and provide more opportunities to support our local businesses, expand our community engagement to better address the needs of our entire city, and protect our environment for a more sustainable future. I would like to express my gratitude once again to the Greater Rockville Chamber of Commerce. I encourage you again to learn more about my platform and contact me directly via my website, isola4progress.org. Thank you again. Second statement, this is from Marissa Valeri. I hope I said that one correctly. I'm getting nods. I'm sorry to miss today's forum as I had prior travel arrangements today. My family and I have lived in Rockville for 13 years as renters in East Rockville and now homeowners in Twinbrook. My civic engagement began with engaging neighborhood businesses in the shared goal of greater public safety. In my role as the former, most current president of the Twinbrook Community Association, I played an important role in supporting our local small businesses. All businesses are vital to the economic strength of our city. However, small businesses are our economic heart. Providing equal support to small businesses across the city should be a value that everyone can agree on. I support this. I am, however, concerned with any economic support using city funds that gives excessive preference treatment to a single business. When elected, I will truly apply our city's commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion to support businesses in appropriate ways and appropriate funding amounts. Our town center should be a laboratory for Rockville's businesses from all sectors. In addition to our biotech corridor, we should seek out and cultivate Rockville as a destination for software companies like, and I think I'm saying this one right, ZeniMax, a groundbreaking company on the cutting edge of publishing interactive entertainment. Being the home of the development team that brought us the popular game Fallout is a point of pride for gamers in this city. Sorry, I can't relate, but my son would. Thank you for this opportunity to share my statement today. You can learn more about me and my campaign at the ever-present website, which is www.marissa with two S's for council.com. So those are the two statements, and with that, we are going to begin with opening statements, as I indicated, of no more than 30 seconds. I'm sorry, but it's got to be brief to get it all in. I'm going to start at my far left. Go ahead, please.
My name is Kate Fulton, and I'm running because I want Rockville to stay safe, vibrant, sustainable, and attainable for decades. For that to happen, we need leaders to make sound, future-focused decisions today. I've spent 20 years making government work efficiently and effectively for all the people it serves. I want to bring those professional skills home to Rockville to build a safe and vibrant future for generations. I ask for your vote, for your support. Again, my name is Kate Fulton. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Good afternoon. My name is Richard Gottfried. Before you vote, I'm asking for you to consider, what do you think that this election is about? I believe that this election is about the following. 1, sustaining Rockville's character and vibrancy as ranked as the number 8 best place to live in Maryland, while redeveloping our city for the future, as cited by niche.com in 2023. Applying common sense leadership while finding common ground on the decision-making process. During this next term, there'll be a lot of complex issues that will need to be addressed, such as ensuring that the pedestrian, bicycle, and land use plan are completed. Maintaining sustainable budgets that support our current projects and our future projects, supporting green space and the environment, and minimizing school overcrowding and traffic congestion while enhancing economic development.
Next.
Hi, I'm Barry Jackson. I'm your neighbor, friend, and a proud member of our community, and I'm running to be your voice on the City Council. I've lived in Rockville for nearly 20 years with my wife and 2 daughters. I have years of experience leading the King Farm Citizens Assembly, King Farm Conservancy, working with Rockville's senior community through the neighborhood villages, and working for legislative change at the American Cancer Society, Lance Armstrong Foundation, and AARP. I look forward to the forum and thank the Chamber for putting it on.
Thank you. Next.
Good afternoon. I hope everyone's doing well. My name is Ricky F. Moy. I am a veteran, a leader, a proud husband, a father, and a neighbor. I was fortunate to find a home here in Rockville in 2020. It's been such a wonderful location, and I'm going to try to do my best to make it even better. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is David Miles. I thank you for the opportunity to serve on the council for the past 4 years. Over that 4 years, I've learned that we have some difficult decisions to make. If we want to continue to provide the level of services that we're accustomed to, we're increasing our budgets 5% year over year. We either raise taxes or bring more business in. Businesses occupy 16% of our land area, but 31% of our tax revenue. So I'm looking forward to continuing to work to recruit and retain more business. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I would like to thank the Greater Rockville Chamber of Commerce for the invitation to share my views on the future of Rockville. My name is Anita Neal Powell, and I'm running for the office of council member to serve as your representative on the Rockville City Council. My vision for Rockville will include the next phase of hiring a city manager, working with the business community, affordable and workforce housing, and encouraging the community to be involved in decisions voted on by the council, joining boards and commission, and staying safe on our roadways and in our neighborhood. Thank you.
Good day, Rockville. My name is Paul Scott, and it's a pleasure coming before you today. I'm a father of 3 grown kids. Previously went to Richard Montgomery High School. I'm a federal government executive. I've managed budgets of over $33 billion, managed operations in over 65 locations, and I'm looking forward to working with you, hearing from you all as we continue to make Rockville one of the best places to be in the country. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Adam Van Grack, and for me, running for City Council is personal. I grew up here. I graduated from Richard Montgomery, My family still lives here. I started a law firm here, and I've been actively involved with the Rockville Chamber of Commerce for many years. I'm running for City Council because I love this city, and I hope you'll listen to me today and learn about me over the next month, and I hope you'll join me as we together work to make Rockville a place where all can thrive for generations to come.
Thank you, everyone. So we're going to have two questions. I, again, apologize for the shortness of this, but we are constrained by TV time, so we're going to do the best we can. So we're going to start again at my far left, and the first question for all of the all the candidates is pretty general. What are your top priorities if you are elected? And you get 1 minute for this one, a whole minute.
One of my primary objectives on City Council is to increase engagement, transparency, and communication. As I walk around knocking on doors, thousands of doors in the city, I hear people say that they didn't know their road was going to be repaved. They didn't know that they had a chance to have input into the budget. By the way, the survey's open right now. So overall engagement, expanding the vote. The second thing is to streamline some of our processes, our zoning, to make it easier for both individuals and businesses to thrive here. I've heard many stories of businesses saying they don't want to come because it's difficult. I've heard homeowners say they can't get contractors to do work on their house because the processes are difficult. I want to make sure that what we're doing here is efficient and effective, achieving the goals of our community. That's what I want to bring to Rockville, is efficient, effective, practical, common sense solutions that make all of our lives better. Thank you.
My top priorities are basically based upon 16 years of civic experience, having started running in 2007. Since this new council will lack experience, my experience will be important on the council because we are in the middle of many plans, King Farm Farmstead, the redevelopment of the giant shopping center, town center, Twinbrook has new development, that the history of all these projects is going to be very important. Not only, some of you know that I'm also a CPA, having that financial and governmental experience. Potentially, the city could be losing a lot of financial knowledge, and I'd be the person who would represent that. And then my connections, established relationships with city, state, and county elected officials when we need to bring together our county and state officials when the city of Rockville goes with Linda Moraine to try to ask for something for the municipality.
So my priorities when I'm elected to the council: transparency, civility, efficiency, and more communication within the city government and with Rockville's residents. I want to fully fund our police department and ensure they continue to support innovative policing programs. That is key for me. We must get that right. Supporting local schools, investing in public and pedestrian safety, or protecting our neighborhoods, there's a lot of work to do, and I'm ready to do it. More than anything, I want a Rockville where all neighborhoods are represented and heard. I believe in diversity and inclusion. I think often they're just words. I want to ensure we live up to those words. One of my biggest priorities is constituent service, helping people with their issues, whatever that may be. I love Rockville, and I have found that I love assisting people find the help that they need. But overarching everything, I want to leave a Rockville that my children want to live in and can afford to live, and where their children can grow up. Those are some of my priorities in this campaign for City Council.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I'm Ricky F. Moy. I have 3 priorities. A responsive government that caters to our needs, our basic services, making sure those are delivered, tree trimmings, making sure our sidewalks are well repaired or maintained, keeping the city safe, making sure that we have adequate police force, making sure we have good community policing. They're visible out there partnering with us to keep drugs out of our neighborhoods, keeping the city or Rockville economically vibrant, making sure this is a hospitable place for business to come in and then thrive. All right, so how do we do that? By connecting the wishes of the people with the ability to work with the council, mayor and council, and then look for alternative and creative funding sources to make the city even better. Thanks.
Thank you for the question. There are some non-negotiables that are part of my priorities, and that includes ensuring the high level of services that we have come to expect. The seemingly boring but very important stuff of filling your potholes, making sure your garbage is taken out, removing snow. Layered on that is to certainly increase public safety, and that's not just putting police out there, though I certainly support that as I did the effort to eliminate the hiring freeze on police. But it's also making sure that streets are safe to walk and ride our bikes and roll along, that youth have programming keeping them out of trouble, that we appropriately treat and decriminalize mental health and substance misuse. And finally, taking care of the environment is very important, leaving the planet better than we found it by implementing the Climate Action Plan on an individual level for homeowners and those in apartments, but also leading by example from the city's level. To do all that, we must do it in a fiscally responsible manner, and that gets back to the point I brought up about recruiting and retaining business, because they provide a disproportionate share of our tax base. Thank you.
My top 5 priorities when elected to the council, I will have an opportunity to focus on the future of Rockville by listening to the community who come before the council, participating in discussions about Rockville, some of which will require a vote, and collaborating with the city manager to implement the priorities and policies of the council. In order to do this, we must first hire a city manager. We must build and retain economic development in our businesses. We must find a way for our residents to live in affordable and workforce housing. We must continue to engage our community, and we must also provide a safe place for our residents and pedestrians and visitors to travel throughout Montgomery County, throughout the city of Rockville.
Thank you.
Well, if you know Paul Scott, 2 things, remember. It's all about people, and it's about sustainability, and I'm going to get into this, okay? First of all, we want a city that works. We want to be able to sustain that. We want to be able to keep our folks, improve the morale, recruit, sensible policies with regards to our business community. It's critical that we be able to continue to attract and maintain, support our business community. We don't want our taxes to be going up, and that's critical, so that's another critical policies. Relationships, maintaining, developing relationships at the county level, at the state level, and also at the federal level. Education is really important to us. We need to make sure that we continue to have a good relationship with our Board of Education, also at the council. Public safety, education, a lot of other areas. And finally, we want to be able to attract a vibrant music and arts community to our town square. You all know that I'm a musician. I play a little guitar, and I have a vision that we have a thriving music environment in our town square area.
As a city, we've got a chance to do big things and make Rockville even better. And there's a number of areas where we can begin that process. Number 1, we need to ensure that the city supports and engages with all neighborhoods. You hear a lot of the candidates today, the mayoral and council candidates, talk about engagement of services and infrastructure. We have to make sure that all of the neighborhoods, including here in Falls Grove, feel like they're part of the city and receiving those services. Number 2, we need to improve public safety and security. It's critical. Whether you know this or not, in the last budget hearings with the mayor and council, our police department did not receive the funding that they specifically requested. That can't happen. We need to address community policing, and we need to make sure the police department is fully funded. We also need to ensure that there's government transparency. With government transparency, you get good governance. We need to invigorate Town Center and stop the wasteful spending that exists for Town Center. And finally, we need to promote diversity in the city government. With proper diversity, both geographically and economically, we can work together and make Rockville a better place.
Thank you. Now I'm going to have another question. We're going to go in reverse order. Due to the fact that I didn't know until 2.5 hours ago we were missing one candidate, and then we discovered one more just is not here, and I'm not going to mention any names. We have more time, so I'm going to give you a little forewarning. I'm going to give you up to 2 minutes for your closings, okay? So I think you're all going to welcome that. It's my guess, right? And let people here get to know you a little better. So we're going to start at this end with the next question, and then go this way. What are you saying to new businesses that are looking to move to Rockville or expand in our city? How do we differ from the surrounding locations that make this a good place to relocate or maintain your business?
I love Rockville. I've lived here my whole life, and Rockville has amazing ability to be the business center and economic center, not only of Montgomery County, but of Maryland. We are the county seat of one of the most significant, if not most important counties in all of Maryland, and we can attract the businesses. But it's important not just to focus on what we are, but what we can do for those businesses. When working with the Chamber of Commerce, I started my business in a law firm here in Rockville because I believe in it and I love it. But we need to do more with our policies to make sure that we're encouraging the businesses. For example, you've heard a lot of the candidates today talk about town center and town square. We need to do more with town center to encourage those businesses. You've heard discussions with regard to the two mayor candidates with regard to residential density. If we don't increase the residential density, we're not going to have the people to help our businesses grow. We also have to work on our zoning and our policy procedures that we have in the city of Rockville. The more we can do to bring in businesses and support them, the better Rockville will be.
So, attracting businesses, and again, that is a key component. My father, just thinking of my father and my wife, some of the works that they're doing, and what we need to do to continue to attract and support our businesses, our permitting processes. We want, when they're going through the processes, not only in the city, but also with the county, making sure that works. Our public schools. While we do not control or we don't have a direct impact on school policies, we do have an influence. And again, I talked earlier about maintaining that relationships. People come to particular communities, they live in communities, they want to know that you have good schools, that you have a good infrastructure, you have a good transportation system, it's safe. We have a very good police department. Chief Brito is awesome. We want to make sure that we continue. That's one of the things I supported the DROP program with regards to that. Supporting READY and the Chamber of Commerce with regards to some of the innovative programs that they're doing. But again, it's all about the infrastructure and showing that we're committed towards supporting our businesses and bringing them here.
So how do we attract business to Rockville? We already have what they call, is READY. And READY receives a grant from the city of Rockville, and they're supposed to work with, that's me.
Keep going.
So I just got started.
Yeah, there's not much time. I'll give you a little extra time since we interrupted you. Go ahead.
Okay. So, how do we attract business to Rockville? Again, we have READY, and READY receives a grant from the city of Rockville to help us to bring business, retain business, and to market our business in Rockville. I would like to work with them when elected on the council. Not only that, but Rockville is known as a small American city that is very attractive to not just our residents, our businesses, our tourists, and et cetera. So I would definitely like to know that when people come to our community, or they come to our community, come to our city, that they feel safe, that they have good transportation. It's Metro, and that we promote this, and I don't think we do enough promotion of our city businesses. And we have Metro, and Metro I think needs to help us to promote the city much more than what they do, to let them know that we're here. We're behind the tracks, but they don't know that we exist. And so how do we do that? We do that with better marketing.
Thank you.
I apologize, sir. Could you please repeat the question for me?
Sure. What are you saying to new businesses that are looking to move to Rockville or expand in our city? How do we differ from surrounding locations in ways that would attract them or retain them?
Thanks. My response might get me in a little trouble, but I'll just be fully transparent. I start by saying, how can I help you? There's a little tea shop that opened in one of my favorite strip malls where I get my favorite Thai food. I won't put names out there because I think all restaurants are great. I gave him my business card, as well as the Thai food restaurant. In the context of the pandemic, a lot of our businesses were suffering. There were funds out there from the county and the feds, and I was able to connect, not that particular restaurant, but one just outside of city limits, another one of my favorite Ethiopian restaurants. You really see where this is going. I like food a lot. But got them thousands of dollars just to help them pay the rent, keep the lights on. They had kids in school, so they were able to keep those kids in school as well, college that is. Another dirty, or a thing that might get me in trouble, is that I've historically been a little bit anti financial incentives to recruit businesses. After serving on the council, I've seen the benefits and how you can use financial incentives to recruit the right types of businesses, and when done correctly, can help catalyze and recruit others to come in. What finally hooked them up or connect them with the Chamber of Commerce as well as Ready, as was previously mentioned, for other resources that are above my pay grade. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. I would like to propose we have the 2 P's and the 2 R's, and that's what would bring businesses here. 2 P's, the people, the good policies to support businesses to come in. The 2 R's, we have Ready and the Rockville Chamber of Commerce. Those are my 4 suggestions. People, businesses will not come, or they typically will not come unless they know that they're going to have the population there to support their business on the long term, sustainable business. We have a diverse population who are hungry for different clothing, food, whatever it is that business would offer. Once again, it would depend on the business. The policies, we're going to make it welcoming for them to come. We already have Ready, the Rockville Economic Development, Inc., to provide business management, business development. So those are my 2 P's and 2 R's. Thanks.
We got to follow your P's and Q's there.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, I couldn't resist. Go ahead.
I love it.
Could you repeat
Yes, I'll be happy to. What are you saying to new businesses that are looking to move to Rockville or expand in our city? How do we differ from surrounding locations?
No, that's a great question. And I would echo the mayor. I think the mayor is a cheerleader for Rockville, and I am as well. I'm really optimistic about Rockville and Rockville's business because we come out of the pandemic and we're ready to embrace business again. And the diversity and inclusion are really the strength of Rockville. I mean, that's what we have to offer our city, is a diverse place, an inclusive place. And, you know, the Chamber of Commerce and Ready both do a great job of promoting Rockville and offering inclusive business owners a chance to succeed. So women, people of color, older Americans who maybe are retired, who are looking for a second job, entrepreneurs, disabled communities, all of these people have a home in Rockville. And when I'm on the council, they'll also have my support.
So I also have a business here in Rockville, started in 1990, my CPA firm. And if I put on my hat that I'm thinking about the other businesses, that why would they come here? We have, as everyone said, we have the Chamber of Commerce, but in the Chamber of Commerce, when I started out as a one-person CPA firm, I joined what's called the Mastermind Group. And that's where I was able to network and build relationships and then grow my business. Ready. I'm really looking forward to Rock East, redeveloping, Goody Drive, which needs to be redeveloped. And we have a great place to live, as I mentioned. Then the third thing is education. If you're bringing in your families, you want to know that you have the, number 4 school in Wooten High School that they could attend. We have great schools, transit, and now we're taking care of pedestrian ways and bike lanes. So Why? Housing, Parks and Rec, great place to play softball or tennis or pickleball. These are all positives and why business should move to Rockville.
What do I say to businesses about what makes Rockville distinct or different? So many things. We have 2 metros. We have 2 institutions of higher education. We have great placemaking areas for industry. We have Rock East. We have the life sciences industry happening on Shady Grove. We are the county seat. There are so many reasons why small businesses should be coming to Rockville. What can we do to help them? The answer is simple. We reduce barriers and we create incentives. We can look to ways to reduce the barriers in terms of permitting and things like that. We can also create incentives. Many of my colleagues have talked about READY. They do great work. We should be leaning into the work of READY to bring those incentives. We can also work more on the connectivity and transit around here for those industries, and we can also build more places and more services so that the employees want to stay here. We have all the building blocks to bring businesses here. We just need to make the right choices in reducing barriers and creating incentives. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to move to closing statements. I'm tired of standing, so if you don't mind, I'm going to grab this chair and I'm going to sit down because I probably don't have to play traffic cop. I've noticed, as I said earlier, this is a very polite group. Everybody obeys their warnings very well. But if I have to, I'll stand up, just so you know. So we're going to start at this end. We're going to give you 2 minutes, please.
Oh, I'm starting again, and I have 2 minutes. My name's Kate Fulton, and I have been fortunate to raise my family and build community in Rockville since 2010. We've lived in 3 neighborhoods, 3 schools, 2 daycares, and countless community-focused initiatives. As I mentioned earlier, in my professional life, when I'm not building community in Rockville, I've been a lawyer in private practice and the public sector, as well as a senior executive and chief operating officer at the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, the Federal Housing Finance Agency. I have built the skills we need on council through this time of change. I know how to build consensus. I know how to drive strategic vision. I know how to bring people together and active listening. And I know how to make the hard decisions that bring the greatest impact to the greatest people over the longest time horizon. You didn't hear a lot of difference today in people's visions for the future of Rockville. The question for the voters in this election is, who are the people that can get it done? I believe I can bring that home to Rockville and build a better future for all of us. Again, my name is Kate Fulton. You can learn more about me at my website, www.fulton4rockville.com. And I hope I've earned your support today, and I encourage you to reach out to me with any other questions. Thank you so much, and thanks to the Chamber for this event.
Go ahead.
My name is Richard Gottfried, and to the thousands of voters that voted for me in previous elections, thank you. And I would like to have your vote again. Why vote for Richard Gottfried? Number 1, I'm a CPA with over 30 years of professional experience. Number 2, my civic experience. I have more than 16 years of civic experience in the city of Rockville. Number 3, leadership skills that are essential to finding common ground amongst diverse opinions and stakeholders. And number 4, I have established relationships with city, county, and state elected officials. To learn more about me, please visit my website, godfreyforcouncil.com. Like I said earlier, we have a lot of complex issues, a lot of plans that are in the middle of the process. And it's going to take experience and someone who has the history of all these plans to at least explain to the fellow colleagues what previous mayor councils have decided before, so that we can move forward with the plans that are already in existence. And I believe I am one of the few candidates that have that experience and knowledge and have gone through all the various plans. One plan that will probably come before us that wasn't mentioned was the land use plan, which is going to comply with our zoning ordinance. And I've been through the first zoning ordinance that made a rule regarding home-based businesses. And that home-based business rule was basically unfair to people who had home-based businesses because they allowed the director of planning to come into your home unannounced. And you had to keep logs of everybody that came into your office, which again was not fair to the medical profession. And then you had to count how many deliveries you had, which again wasn't very good. So my time is up. I hope you vote. I'd be honored to have your vote. Please vote for Richard Gottfried. Thank you.
Well, thank you to the Chamber of Commerce and the city for putting on this forum. I hope that you guys have been informed and have listened to what we have to say, and thank all the candidates for actually putting yourselves out there. I know it's hard. It takes up a lot of our time, but we do it because we love this city and we want to get back to the city. So I'm Barry Jackson, and I'm actually the president of King Farm Citizens Assembly, which is a large HOA in Rockville, the northern edge of Rockville. Approximately 10,000 people, 1,500 homes, townhomes, sidewalks, streets, community center, pools. Basically, it's like a small town inside of Rockville. So when we talk about experience, we talk about leadership and real results. I've done it. I've basically been leading a small town. And so I will take that as experience to the Rockville City Council and hit the ground running because I actually deal with these situations every day. Now, just a little bit about me. I had a stroke about 12 years ago. And so I have a different perspective, and that's also something that I want to take to the City Council. You might notice I don't have a tie on. I didn't have anybody to help me tie a tie, and I can't tie a tie. So that's something different about me and about my perspective on the world that I will take to the City Council. So go to votebarryjackson.com for more information about me. Together, we will move all of Rockville into a more prosperous future. Thank you.
Thank you. I am Ricky F. Moy. I have served Rockville, or proudly served Rockville, from the moment I found a home here in 2020. I have worked alongside parents in the PTA. I've been a den leader in Pack 928 Cub Scouts. I have interviewed and mentored candidates aspiring to join the U.S. Naval Academy. I envision a Rockville where the graduates of our high schools and Montgomery College can find employment, or better yet, start their own company, like one of the recent grads I met who wants to start a bakery here. I'm willing to work with my fellow elected city council members to ensure that Rockville is welcoming to include city employees, I enjoy so many services in Rockville. That requires us to think outside the box in order to bring more businesses, people, and I am very happy about the safe, comfortable, and distinct neighborhoods, and I'm going to work to protect the Rockville neighbors' quality of life and support spending that values equity and benefits Rockville, because together we will thrive. I am Ricky F. Moy. I approve this message.
My name is David Miles. My day job is working as a pediatrician. I've served active duty in the United States Navy and have had the high honor of serving as one of your City of Rockville council members for the past 4 years. I began my opening remarks with a lot of doom and gloom about budget difficulties and some some financial constraints that we're going to see coming forward, not to mention the inflation that we're all experiencing, and vacancies that we're seeing around town in terms of our businesses. My mom's been in town for the past several weeks, and she just loves this city. She came and hung out for 3-4 hours after getting off the airplane in our town center, town square. She marveled at the libraries and the restaurants, and I think she's actually right now at the movie theater. That's why I was checking my phone to make sure she was okay. Seeing it through her eyes is different. I'm telling her about all the challenges and all the things that she just said, oh, this is awesome. Took her to the senior center. She loves it and loves the people here. People are educated and warm and friendly. And so I had to stop myself. I think it's easy after you've been seeing the sausage maker for a while to get pretty pessimistic. But seeing it from the outsider's perspective and from one of our colleagues, it's a glass half full. I think, Ready, the Chamber of Commerce are doing great work, so I look forward to working with them and building upon the progress that they're making on recruiting and retaining businesses to help address the vacancy issue and some of the tight budgets that we might find. I'm also looking forward to, if I do get the opportunity to serve you again, working with a fresh group of eyes. At least 5 to 6 new people on the council who see the city differently from what I have seen. And I think we'll bring a lot of great ideas, new ways of doing things that will hopefully make the city thrive even more. So with that, I appreciate the trust in your support in the past years. I hope that I can earn it again. And my name's David Miles. Thank you for your time.
Hello again, my name is Anita Neal Powell. I am a lifelong Montgomery County resident and live on the east side of the city in a historically black community named Lincoln Park, where I grew up. I'm a graduate of Richard Montgomery High School, which these two are as well. So Richard Montgomery in the house.
Same year.
Oh, you too.
Go Rockets.
Rockets, okay. From Montgomery, received a certificate of leadership from Montgomery College Nonprofit Leadership Institute, and I'm a graduate of the University of the District of Columbia with a bachelor's degree in public administration. Moreover, I am the founding president of the Lincoln Park Historical Foundation, a nonprofit organization here in the city, and also the Leroy E. Neal African American Research Center, which is the only one in Montgomery County. I'm also a member of the Mount Calvary Baptist Church and work very closely with the Crusaders Baptist Church of God, who was housed in the Lincoln School that you may heard a lot about. So I have participated and served in leadership roles for Rockville. Some of those roles include Rockville Historic District Commission, Charter Review Commission, and Boards and Commission Task Force. So I'm invested into this community. I have been here forever. I don't intend to go anywhere. I will continue to raise my voice slowly, not loudly, but in a firm voice, to get our message across. And I would welcome you to vote for me, Anita Neal Powell, for council. Thank you.
I remember my son, he was in high school, and he mastered Spanish by the time he was taking independent studies at a freshman year. And I said, Michael, if you want to impress me, learn Arabic or Mandarin. And he's now fluent in Mandarin, Portuguese, Spanish, French. And what I was thinking about is the diversity of our city, the diversity of our community. And we now know that Rockville is now one of the most diverse places in the country. Why am I running? The reason why I'm running is that I recognize that we need to be able to connect our community. Our city's growing. We've all heard about the statistics. Many of you, I know we're all kind of policy nerds. You've read maybe the ULI report and the comprehensive plans and many of the other things. We have to be able to make sure that we can all get together. That's when I talk about sustainability, that's what it's about. So we talked earlier, the question was about how do we attract businesses? We attract businesses when they know that our police department, we have a safe community, that we have the proper infrastructure, that our residents are the most educated folks in this area, that our schools work. So those are the things that I'm going to be stressing. Working with my colleagues here, working with you all. I love talking to folks. One of the great things about this whole campaign process is you're getting to meet folks across the city and it just really solidifies and recognizes that this is a great community. We have a lot of policy issues. We got a lot of things that we're going to have to deal with. Some of us have lived here all of our lives. Some of us have not. Some of us have come here recently. But that's what we're going to do it together. And one of the themes that I have, working together as one. I really do believe if we can focus, lean into that, then we can get into the policy issues. We can have fun, and we can continue to be the leader, not only in Montgomery County, but across Maryland and across the nation. So again, Paul Scott for you. Please go to my website. Please support me. Please reach out to me. And folks, let's do it. Thank you.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. Together we have the chance to do big things and make Rockville even better than it is today. And we need to elect leaders who can get it done. I'm proud to have raised in Rockville, and I'm proud to have only viewed Rockville as my home. And I'm running to help Rockville succeed. I've told you a little bit about my priorities, and I want to tell you a little bit more about me. I'm an attorney who works in downtown Rockville, and I interpret city, county, state, and federal codes for a living. I also worked in the United States Senate. I also was a governor appointee for the Maryland Juvenile Justice Advisory Council, and I'm an active member of the Public Policy Committee of the Rockville Chamber of Commerce. In these positions, I have been a consistent advocate for greater safety in our city and our state, for better zoning and infrastructure policies to support our shops and our small businesses, and for our environment and green spaces. But you don't have to take my word for it, because I have gotten to know numerous of our city, state, and federal leaders. They've looked at my background and my priorities. And if you look at my website, I've got 18 different city, county, state, and federal leaders who've endorsed me, including former Rockville Mayor and County Executive Doug Duncan, former Rockville Mayor Susan Hoffman, our current Montgomery County Sheriff, Max Wee, as well as 3 members of our state delegation, State Senator Cheryl Kagan, Delegate Joe Vogel, and Delegate Ryan Spiegel. Getting results for our city means, 1, having the experience in the areas where we can make Rockville better, and also working with our county, state, and federal leaders to make our community and our city stronger. I'm running for city council because I love this city. And I hope you'll join me as we work together to make this city a place that can thrive for generations to come. You've got 6 votes for city council, and I hope you'll make Adam Van Grack one of them.
Thank you. So, first of all, I never can go through one of these without making one mistake, so I've been prompted on one. I apparently read off the website address incorrectly for one of the candidates. It is not IS, it is IZOLA, Shaw, SHAW, the number 4, progress.com. I didn't give you the .com, but I assume that's right. So let me just briefly say in closing, we hear all the time complaints about candidates. We hear that they're the choice of the lesser of evils. I don't think we have the lesser of evils here. You have a monumental election in the city of Rockville. As you heard a couple of candidates say, you're going to have huge turnover. You're going to have a new mayor. You're going to have a vast majority of the new council, no matter who you vote for. It's going to be brand new, and we have a lot of challenges in front of us. So I'll repeat what I said earlier. Please get out and vote. Let me remind you that this has been recorded. My understanding is these get played over and over again. Last time I was told by one of my friends, "Why did I see you on Channel 11 at 2 o'clock in the morning?" I said, "Well, I wasn't up at 2. It was recorded. What were you doing up at 2 o'clock in the morning?" So I encourage you to tell your friends, and there'll be a number of other forums to follow. I thank the candidates. I thank you for coming out. Get out and vote. Thank you.